Aisha is here. Aisha, welcome once again with Journeys Interactive.
Thank you, Israel. I like this color. Is it a
The
shade of
tie?
green? The color of the tie.
Okay, I'm not very sure, so I wouldn't go there.
I think it's a shade of green. Or is it turquoise blue? I'm just trying to figure out, but whatever color it is, it's so beautiful.
Thank
and it looks very
Aisha.
good on you. All right, so you know how to join the conversation, not Israel's conversation, but the interactive segment. And it's on facebook.com/joynews-on-TV. On Twitter is on Joy News on TV. Now, President Nana Akufo-Addo has announced his first batch of ministerial appointees. The appointments numbering 13 include veteran politicians, mostly people who have served in the erstwhile Kufuor administration. Of course, they need to go through Parliament for final approval, but some of the names with their corresponding officers may be a bit unexpected. So the question I ask, are you surprised about any of the names or where they're heading to?
But they were in the same government with Nana Akufo-Addo. When Nana Akufo-Addo was the Minister for Foreign Affairs, and he was moved to her Attorney General. So it is the same team he's bringing on board. I'm not surprised when I hear the name of Kendapa, the minister designated for what? Agric. They were all in the team with the former president. And so I'm not surprised. But my only worry is that we are here to see what they have for us. That's all I'm thinking about. Because I don't see the reason why there should be a senior minister where the chief of staff is there. Are you getting me? The work of the chief of staff is the work of the why all of a sudden we are appointing a senior minister. That was the work of the chief of staff, and the chief of staff are being assisted by 2 deputies.
For me, there are no surprises as to the names the president has mentioned as to those he has appointed. Looking at Osaf Mafo and Matthew Pempe and all that, they are people who have served in the Kufuor's government. So I think they have the experience, and they are going to help Akufo-Addo. So.
Well, not really. What I saw or what I heard, I don't have any surprise in it. It's not. It doesn't really. Let me say, he's the president and he knows what he's doing. And for him to choose his own ministers, he has to do it. He has to appoint his own ministers, and we per se we have to just rally around him and support him. Let's support his government and see what comes after us. And besides the ministers, Charlie, that's the best. That's the best.
All right, so me so far, those names, I'm okay with them. Though I've not gotten all the names approved yet, but those that are out, I'm okay with them. That's my opinion on it.
I wish Dr. Opoku Prempeh, given the Ministry of Health. Because I see that he's good in health sector, right? Yeah, education, he will perform, but I see that he will perform far better than being in education minister.
All right, so those are some messages coming from the streets of Accra. Let's continue with our conversation. We'll still pull up some messages you are sending on Facebook and we'll interact about that. But former Attorney General Martin Amido has accused 2 previous parliaments of what he describes as endemic corruption. Mr. Amido, in his latest write-up on institutional rot, says legislators in the 5th and 6th Parliament, dominated by the NDC, did not do due diligence and assisted the then executive to steal from the country's coffers. Thus, he attributes to deliberate acts of the presidents and governments whose members made up the majority in those parliaments. Now, having listened to Mr. Amido all these years, do you think it's one of his usual attacks on the NDC, or you feel this is a genuine concern?
I think it's propaganda, it's politics. So for me, what I think is the new government should not focus on all those propagandas, and then you should focus on what he actually wants to do and help Ghana. That's my opinion, though. So I think Amidu, which is a citizen something. I think what he's saying, to me, I'm not supporting him.
ABCD has made this vote to be corrupt, but he's silent over that. That is my only worry. He is campaigning for her. He is a crusader, saying that no, corrupt practices is happening in the parliament. The fact of the matter, it should come out with the fact of the matter. He's silent over that. It's not overdue. You are saying that people are corrupt. And you are one time, fine, let us see the fact of the matter, so that we all agree that, yeah, really, the people are corrupt. But we are not seeing that. That is my only worry. Yes.
Okay, let me ask you, what do you think about the issue?
I also agree with what he said. You know, he can't always coming out by saying that people are corrupt without even finger point those people who are behind that scene. You understand? So we need evidence as a Ghanaians. One is always coming out by saying that these people are corrupt without bringing them out. That is why those under there are still doing it. So it should come out with a very concrete evidence that will let the Ghanaians know what he's saying that is true. Without coming out with an evidence by saying that, it's something like it's just like a noise.
All known Martin Amidu to be a citizen vigilante, right? So Martin Amidu, if he says this is what's happening and this is what he has written about, then that's it. That's it. He has said it all. Because he has been in that government and the NDC government before. And he said it, that the corruption is too much. And he came out to query them. So probably Martin Amidu is the best. So he has said it all. Whether he has written it or whether he has put it in an article or whatever, he has said it.
All right, so those were some messages from the streets of Accra. Let's see what you've been posting. We're going to be talking about Mr. Amidu's comments, and we're also going to be looking at the appointment of President Akufo-Addo. Israel will take us through that.
All right, so let's start with the first blog we posted. So I am surprised that Rafiq Adam says, I'm surprised that the change is, the change Nana has cried for has virtually did nothing by putting square pegs in round holes. How could you place professional accountant into security and doctor into education? That's the change for you. Kofi Sam says the list is exceptional, unique, amazing, fantastic, unprecedented, goal-oriented, devoid of people who have just finished their national service. Experience is on display. They must just prove the confidence we have in them. Ghana must work again. Kofi Sam again says, in fact, Abraham Grant, Black Stars coach, must contact His Excellency Nana Addo when it comes to selection. The list has just one thing running through: competent. A word directly opposite to what took someone to a position. Rahim says, I'm not surprised with any names so far because all the ministers designate are people with track records and most of them highly professionals, and hashtag change starts now. Ismail says, yes, I'm highly surprised, especially having seen a minister and chief of staff. To me, doesn't go well on that tangent.
And Rend of Nana Kwejo Owari says, from this list provided by Nana, I think JDM did the nation a disservice by appointing some ministers who were students. I believe these noble men and women will perform excellently for Mother Ghana. Elias Tamale says the nomination is the best that will ensure the forward march of Ghana. The blend of the youth and the old guards is the way to go. The nominees have no reason to fail. Ghana is here to work again with such a rich team in place. Maxwell Oheneba Apraku says, no, I think this will be a strong team for Nana Addo to move Ghana forward because some have the experience already. Change is here. Nambe Patrick, congrats to, he says, congrats to Dominic Nitiwo, Minister for Defense and Legislator for Bimbilla constituency. Thanks for making St. Charles Minor Seminary and Senior High School proud. We're grateful. And Nambe Patrick again says, Nana Akufo-Addo has probably worked with these people and know their capabilities. This has amounted to reasons in selecting them for his government. And Prince, all right, so let's move on to Martin Amidu, who is accusing the 5th and 6th Parliament of rot.
Richard Berima Kubaji Jine says, Martin Amidu is only a bitter man who doesn't have anything new to say. must therefore not be taken any seriously. He's only a coward because he couldn't make these baseless comments when those parliaments had not been dissolved because he feared being hauled before the August House. Ismail says this one should be investigated and called to order. He makes serious allegations without justification. I would not be surprised if he's indicted in some of these scandalous acts. Ben Bella says the clock is fast ticking. 7th January marks the beginning of all the freebies. Nanado must get to work immediately. 4 years free SHS, 1 district, 1 factory, and on and on and on you go.
All right, and Nanado has already promised us that anyone who wants to make money should go to the private sector, right? So we're watching. And finally, there are calls for former President John Mahama to lead the NDC in the 2020 elections. Now, whilst MP for Kumbungu, Ras Mubarak, supports this call, describing John Mahama as the best man to recapture power for the NDC, while West MP Yele disagrees with that position, and he describes such calls as premature and undemocratic. Meanwhile, the former president's family say Mr. Mahama needs to rest after all these years of serving his country. So tell me, what do you think? Are these calls coming too early, or you think it's a rather important move for the comeback of the NDC?
You know, we just voted the president out, so I personally think the NDC should give Mahama some time, you know, for him to enjoy his retirement packages and all that, before they come in and start talking about who to, you know, come in and contest for the 2020 presidential election. So I personally think they should give the ex-president some time.
Yeah, I think it's come too early for us to be discussing such, how do you call it? What we need to do is to expect the incoming, I think the sworn, is it the sworn, and president, and we should have to support him in a way to, how do you call it, to perform, to execute whatever he has for a country or a nation. So we, how do you call, discussing about Mahama contesting again is not something that we need to be actually considering now.
So tell me what your opinion on what do you think about this?
Well, actually, I would say the NDC should rather come out with their new policies of taking the seat from MPP, rather than fighting over a presidency who would lead them in the next election or something. That is what I think is best for them to do now. It's too early. To me, it's too early. But one thing I would also say is Mahama should, ex-president Mahama, he should make his statement clear that he wouldn't come again, because what has happened to the NDC, including the administration of ex-president Mahama, it is embarrassing. Such that you said you were in a comfortable lead, and then the one you think is losing had to beat you with over 1.5 million votes. Something like that is such embarrassing to the NDC and then the President Mahama administration. So to me, it is good for him to come out, that even if he says he's not into politics again, I will clap for him.
Well, those were some interesting comments coming there. But what have you been saying on Facebook? Let's see, Israel.
Prince Nudin says, indeed, they need to rethink because 2020 will be difficult for the NDC to recapture power. Kateche says, but which party will he lead after JJ has taken over his party? Dean says, I think JM is the best shot NDC has got because they made him a god among themselves. Yahya says the calls are too early. They should let him rest and speak to us. Ernest says he wants him to keep the bungalow for him, Muntaka to go there and chew kebab. Oh.
And Bafo Sabina says this is not fair as there are other potentially good people to lead the party. JM is not the only presidential material in NDC. Let's now check.